Jodi Schrage, and I've been with the OSFM since about 2008. I started as a consultant, actually, and was looking at business analysis, business processes, really just trying to automate some of the paper-based systems that the OSFM had. And then that turned into a full-time position that they asked me to do special projects and just more of that IT analysis, but then also just looking at strategic planning and other business processes. And then when we deconsolidated from shared services, public safety shared services, who handled our fiscal and our HR, just some of the work I'd already been doing, it was just kind of a liaison role that I held there, and then that moved into, when we took those jobs back, it just kind of was a natural progression into moving into that HR manager role. Who's Jodi? Okay, I am a mom, wife, aunt, daughter. Spend a lot of time with my daughter, who's 23, and she graduated from University of Illinois and then is now doing a master's program at Northwestern for communications integrated marketing. And she ended up having to come home, so she's doing that remotely, but it's been great having her home, so we spend a lot of time. Been married to my husband, Chuck, for 25 years, and he's the alumni director out at the University of Illinois Springfield. I have 3 nephews and 5 nieces I spend a lot of time with and love doing that, and take care of my 81-year-old mom. I would say really my dad probably had the biggest impact on me when I was looking at colleges and deciding what I wanted to do. I thought for sure psychology. I always thought of myself as the person people came to for advice and things like that. So I thought that was the perfect career, and he honestly discouraged me from that and said he thought that would be a stressful career and a stressful life. Because government is so non-stressful. But so he encouraged me to study journalism. Knew I enjoyed writing, encouraged me to study political science. I'd done a Curry internship, I was a Senate page, I'd done some things in the summer during high school times, and so enjoyed that. And so he thought, that would be a good combination. And honestly, I think kind of where I've ended up now is kind of the perfect mix of that. I think I get to use the things I studied in school, communications, political science, but then I also am using interpersonal human relations skills with an HR role. So I think he'd be proud of where I've landed. I've had some great ones in addition to my dad that I mentioned. I think also my mom. My parents divorced when I was young, single mom, and she didn't go to college. Financially it was difficult, and so I think she really instilled in me, you're going to go to college, you're going to be able to be financially independent, and that was a big impact in the different positions I've had. When I was a Dunn Fellow, which is a college internship program the governor's office has, my first job was working in Chicago for the press office, and the deputy press secretary at the time, Gary Mack. I mean, man, was he just the most charismatic, great journalist, but just very charismatic, extrovert person, and he really kind of pulled me out of my shell. I mean, he would throw me out into situations of doing advance work for the governor, doing a lot of things that I were so out of my element, but really encouraged me to do that. My first full-time position was working for Mike Lawrence, who was the press secretary for Governor Edgar in Springfield, and just an exceptional journalist, and then also just great policymaker. And he was really tough. I mean, really tough. I was honestly a little bit scared of him. But, he had high standards, expected me, a lot of his staff, and a lot of me, and I learned a lot from him. When I was at CMS, I was also given the task of, the governor at the time appointed a group of women just to progress women's issues in Illinois. And so the group of women I had, to assist with, one of them was the president of Blackburn College, one of them was the athletic director from Northern Illinois University, a lobbyist for the Illinois Medical Society. So it was just this great group of women who were, further along in their career than I was, that I really got to look up to and just learn a lot from. So I think, and then honestly, our fire marshal now, Fire Marshal Perez, since I've worked with him, learned a lot about management. He definitely leads by example, and I've, I think, become a better listener to people and just more aware of situations than I would have been before. You need those people. I think whether you're male, female, no matter what your job is, I've tried to be that for people that have worked for me. I try to be that for My daughter, I think it's important or even for my nieces and nephews, I think it's important to have those role models and to look at people and what the path they've taken, where they end up, and just have that partnership with people. A lot of different fun memories. I did a summer internship for Representative Bob Michael in Washington, D.C. And so that summer working at the Capitol, this was all before 9/11, so just the access that I had and the opportunities. The 4th of July in Washington, D.C., watching from the Dome, just amazing experience. As a Senate page, as a Curry intern, just the different things I've enjoyed doing. One funny one I can think of is I did a stint where I was a reporter for the Illinois State Fair. And so I thought, it's a reporter. So I came and I had a nice little outfit on for my first day there, and the first assignment was going and covering the husband and hog calling contest. And, if you've never been to the fair or been to that event, it's something. And so I got a real quick baptism there of what my role was going to be, and I had to really adjust my attire and my mindset. So that was a fun experience. I think advice-wise, I wish I had not spent so much time doubting myself. I think just having confidence, and for women too, I think there's sort of this, you can do it all. And I think sometimes you can't. Sometimes you really have to make decisions about what your priorities are, what you want your life to look like, and that doesn't mean you can't have a full family life and a full career. It just means you have to decide what kind of priorities you have and what stress level you're comfortable with, what time management you're comfortable with. So I try to tell my daughter, just be confident. There's a lot of stress now today with social media, with just everybody has to do everything. And so I try to tell her, try to quiet the noise and just think about what's important to you, think about what you enjoy doing, and do that. I would hope they would think that I was fair and that I cared about the work I was doing, that I care about whether it being here at OSFM. I truly care about the agency, I care about the people, and I hope they would, when they think of me, they would remember that.